Hi, I'm Jada, and welcome to my crazy world. It's been a very long time since I made a video, and I know, I owe y'all an apology. Like, it's unacceptable that I keep teasing y'all, and then, you know, it just never happened. Because life be life and things like that, but happy 2026. It is February. It's Black History Month, and it's also the month of love. Valentine's Day is on February 14th. So, February is a very exciting, short but exciting month, and I am happy that you guys are here just to watch and see me yap. But today's video is going to be about love and justice and how both of them go together and they're not separate. So, I know lately people have seen what's been going on in our political climate. We're dealing with a administration that doesn't believe that individuals that don't look like them matter, and they're centering particular voices that looks like them and only accept those that, if they do look like them, they align with their values. And it is very unfortunate because we have seen people that look like me, and even from other cultures that are brown, Mexican, Middle Eastern, all being taken away. And those that are advocating for those people and how they are wrongfully being treated, being killed. We've seen the death of Renee Good and the death of Alex Preddy, which both of those deaths have been very disappointing to say the least. But it's a beautiful thing to also see people in Minnesota, people in my hometown, Chicago, come together and speak out on these issues, because it's a real thing. Like, we can't just let them, silence us. So I think it's important to, also just hold space for them. So I want to start off by just kind of taking a deep breath and kind of grounding ourselves before we talk about the topic for today. So first, we're gonna close our eyes, take a deep breath in, and then release. Okay, number 2. And then one more. And then a big sigh. Wow, doesn't that feel good? But I feel like one thing that I feel like a lot of people get wrong about love, and I even been reading all about love by Bell Hooks lately, is that we only see love that is transactional and beneficial to us individuals, when really it's a collective thing. Because when we think of love, we think of romance, we think of candy, we think of chocolates, we think of these elaborate dates. But in reality, love is so much bigger than that. Like, as someone that never really experienced love romantically, never been on a date, never really had like a real relationship, I kind of had this idea of love. But as I'm getting older now, I'll be 28 in March, I've realized that I found the most love that I ever experienced was in doing social justice work and actually helping people, especially people that I don't know and people that I do know. And doing those things really kind of help shape my worldview of what love is. So love isn't just, romance, holding hands. Love is helping those in need. Love is, it's more than just a 4-letter word. But I have a couple of key points that I want to breakdown today, just to kind of give you a worldview of love and why it matters. So the first point is love. When we take the time to listen to other perspectives, other lived experiences, and other points of view in a way that is attentive, that is love. Because sometimes we could say that, oh, I'm listening when we're having these conversations. But when you can actually repeat what that person is saying and you actually put into initiative what that person said and align it with the actions, that's really what listening, which is also the art of loving, is to listen and to really take time to kind of analyze what you heard. And I feel like that's a beautiful thing, listening to other perspectives, other lived experiences, even if you're a parent or you have a significant other, just being able to hear and to promptly remember. And it could be some of the smallest things, like remembering their favorite food, remembering the first movie that you watched together, remembering your first date in every single detail. And it's not even just with like romance. This can also be with a lot of social issues in the world. Kind of listening to the lived experiences of the injustices that's going on. Maybe someone is dealing with food insecurity, or someone may be struggling with a lot of discrimination, maybe ableism, and taking the time to hear their problem and actually doing something about it and sharing their lived experiences. And that's really one of the best ways to love, is when you listen, but you listen with your heart and your brain and not just your ears. So yeah, listening is a good form of loving. And then another way that we can love is speaking out on injustices, which I mentioned a little bit briefly. But when we speak out about what's going on in the world and what is happening right now in this climate, that is another way that you're showing love. And no, you don't have to have a megaphone. No, you don't have to have a microphone. It is good to be on the forefront, be on the ground where people are protesting, but sometimes being physically at a protest isn't always possible. So I think it's a beautiful thing to, even if you're reposting, even if you're reading, sharing resources, reading and actually utilizing that resources, that is the best way to actually center justice. And that's also an art of loving and showing love, because you're genuinely caring and you're genuinely taking the time to actually educate yourself. And if someone loves you, they will be willing to learn about you, what you stand for, what you're passionate about, what you care about, and also the people around you. In the Bible, it says to love your neighbor as yourself, which that really is a big deal. And we even learned it from Mr. Rogers. If you're a older Gen Z or millennial, like watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and hearing the theme song, would you be my neighbor? Like, it's literally biblical. And considering that Fred Rogers was also a Presbyterian minister, so that kind of hits different. And he didn't even have to quote a single verse. Like, that's the best way to do it. And then also, outside of speaking out, also you can show love by just doing small, simple acts. And it doesn't have to be performative. If you donate to someone's mutual aid, if you actually if you have a platform and you're a creator and you realize that that person isn't getting the attention that they deserve, you let them use your platform, or you you let them post on your platform so that way their voice can be heard. That is another way to love. Like, if you realize that someone is in need and you're more fortunate and you have more financial privilege and you're able to help out, that is love. Like, even though people say that, like, oh, money doesn't matter and things like that, money definitely does matter in certain situations. Like, if you are financially struggling and if you're falling on hard times, because let's face it, there are many people that are financially struggling, even me. And although I do work, that doesn't mean that I'm financially well off, and I get help, but I still financially struggle. So it's still good that even if you know that you are more well off, and some people that may not have a whole lot still donate too, that's also still a form of love as well, because we're here to help each other out. I mean, we didn't come into this world just to only help ourselves. I believe in self-care, and I believe in prioritizing, ourselves and our mindsets, amplifying us as humans, but also community is vital. And sometimes there may be people that are introverted. I'm mostly introverted, but I'm a friendly introvert. But I still think that community is important, and I try my best to get myself around community as much as I can. So just showing up in those various forms really do matter. But that is also a way of love, and a lot of people don't realize it. And then the last point, and I want to end with this, and I read this recently in All About Love, and Bell Hooks really, speak on this well, because she not only, grew up in the church, but she also incorporate Buddhist practices, which I find amazing. So she was very spiritually fluid, which I kind of resonate with a lot. And when she talked about love as a spiritual practice, and not just about enforcing it in a way that's religious, but using love as a way to show up for others and to see the inherent worth in each individual, I find that amazing. Because sometimes, and I know it's going to make a lot of people mad, and it's a controversial statement, but I feel like it should be said. Sometimes we don't always have to force our religion down people's throats in order to show love for others. And we've been seeing this a lot. There's a thing called Christian nationalism, which is a movement that basically forces people to become Christian. But it's a certain kind of Christian. And that kind of Christianity can be dangerous, because the purpose of that movement is to convert people to Christianity as a way to save souls, but in reality you're just adding them as a number just to make yourself look good. I don't like Christian nationalism. I think that it is divisive, because it erases those that may not be interested in Christianity, and a lot of people deconstruct it because of the way Christianity, especially white Christian nationalism, has been showing up, especially in this political climate that we're in. And a lot of people are scared of it, and a lot of people have been harmed by it. And it's not all Christians, because I attend Christian churches that are very progressive, and those are the ones that are being attacked, let's be honest. But people are really thrown off by it, and I don't believe that Christian nationalism is normal and should never be. But I believe that there's a way to show love and compassion to the people around you, your neighbors, without forcing spiritual beliefs. Just showing up, just listening, and even just taking the time to get to know them, without any hidden agendas. It could be going out to eat, getting some coffee, not Starbucks, getting some coffee, getting something to eat, having a conversation, not forcing prayer on people. And I believe that you could pray for people without having to force them to pray for them. Like, that's another thing as well. But love is a spiritual practice because it saves lives. And if you're just listening, if you're just showing up, if you're showing love in a way that it's just being human, and it doesn't mean that you're gonna always be positive or you're gonna always be very bubbly and happy Georgia. It just means that you're being human and you are connecting more to a divine in a way that you are being truly yourself, and you are centering your spiritual practice and how you treat people in your everyday life. And it's not just about posting scriptures or sacred texts. It's about calling out harm, and it's about basically being yourself. And that is the best thing when it comes to love. But just to end off this video, I want to quote this particular scripture. It's a Bible scripture, but it's one of my favorite ones. And I think this scripture is really important. Even though I deconstructed my faith a whole lot, I do find joy in reading the Bible and Jesus's teaching, because I felt like Jesus was a cool dude. And his words were just being, misinterpreted, and his representatives are not really some of the best people. But I find joy in reading the Bible, and I think that this particular scripture really shows why justice and love really go together. And it's verse 8. And I'm going to read from the Common English Bible. And it says, "He has told you, human one, what is good, and what the Lord requires from you is to do justice, embrace faithful love, and to walk humbly with God." And then another translation says to do justice, love kindness. Like, do justice and love kindness. And then I'm going to read another version. And let's see. And another version says, "You must do what is right and fair. You must always be kind to other people." And that's really the purpose of love. And romantic love is beautiful. Romantic love, I think seeing people in love, especially Black folks in love, and any race, especially if you're in an interracial relationship, or any person that is also another race, I think all forms of love that is healthy is good. And I believe that, and I hope that we come as a society that we continue to center love as a spiritual practice, but also love as a way to speak out for what is right, and advocating for those that need our voices more than ever, need our just our uniqueness more than ever. And I find it to be a beautiful thing. So if you're watching this on Valentine's Day or before Valentine's Day, I hope you love on someone today. If you don't have a boo, if you are your own Valentine, and if Valentine's Day is very hard for you, if you lost a loved one, I'm holding space for you. I hope you take the time to really treat yourself to something nice, show some kindness to a stranger, or just continue to speak out for what is right, and advocate for those who are marginalized, especially now. Like, people want to censor us. Don't let them. Like, be the change. And yeah, that is it for this video. It's a little bit longer than usual, but I hope everyone has a beautiful Valentine's Day. And for my Black siblings, stay woke, stay beautiful, and stay Black. And what was I gonna say? Don't forget to subscribe. Like this video if you find it amazing. I hope you stick around and see more of my content because I'm planning on posting more very soon. And I will see you guys around. Jada Waiter.